Yesterday, my high school bully thought it would be a good idea to reach out to me on here.
Hey Lauren, how are you? I was just scrolling through TikTok and I saw your posts for like time and I'd watched them. I have a very pants memory of faces, especially as we've grown up into adults. I literally would watch and be like, why does she look so familiar? This is not a message to say, I hope she follows me back, lol. I'm so happy your TikTok is growing. I'm so happy you're using your story to help young people. You're doing amazing, sweetie. All I thought of was Kris Jenner. I was just so happy to recognize you. Just in case you have the same thing I do, it's from high school. I'm also sorry for all you went through. I'm glad you and your baby girl are doing good.
Now that's a nice message, right? Really polite, really friendly, except where's the acknowledgement of the shit you used to do to me? Before I go into what this girl used to do, I fully acknowledge that people can change. I'm a big believer that a lot of people, not all people, but a lot of people deserve second chances. I've had a few people from my high school or from my past reach out to me before, but usually it's been people who I either used to be friends with but just drifted apart from, or it's people who I never really spoke to much in the first place, but they never went out of their way to be horrible to me. I've never had someone who made my life miserable reach out to me. The minute I saw it, I was so annoyed. But I'm trying this whole thinking before I post a video thing. I'm trying not to post angry videos because I have ADHD rage. Like, I will react in the moment. So I've sat on this for a couple of days thinking if I even want to make a video about this, but I decided I do because I think a lot of people can relate to this. So let me tell you what this girl did and why I'm not accepting this message. I think there are three types of bullies. There are ones that just outright bully you. Do the name calling, do the physical abuse, whatever it is. Then there are the type of bullies who I don't count as like bullies, but they sort of join in because they're scared of being bullied themselves. They might not call you names, but they will laugh along with it. And then there are the bullies that join in, not because they feel peer pressure, but because they find it funny. And that's where this girl fits into. When I became homeless, I still tried to go to school at least once a week. And when I say homeless, when I first became homeless, I wasn't sleeping in car parks, I wasn't sleeping on the buses. I had a boyfriend at the time and I was living with him. He didn't live too far away from my school. When my mum kicked me out, I had no school uniform. So I would go to school once a week in my own clothes. And I used to get made fun of because of that, because my clothes weren't very nice. I got all these hand-me-downs, I got charity shop clothes. I used to get made fun of because of that, and this girl was one of the girls that would make fun of me because of my shoes. I didn't have any proper shoes. The only shoes I had were school shoes. So imagine me rocking up to school in jeans and a little vest top and school shoes. I still tried to go to school once a week because I was trying to convince myself that I would make it. Sorry, I'm not actually looking at what I'm doing. Like, this is a really bad tan job. I still wanted to believe that I had a chance of getting qualifications. I didn't want to drop out of school, so I would still attend when I could. I was in permanent isolation at this point, so all my work was done outside my head teacher's office, so I didn't even have to be around other students. Only at break time and lunchtime, and that's where people would make fun of me. The last time I ever went to school, I've never told anyone this before. I don't want pity. Please don't pity me because it's fine now. But my partner who I was living with, his mum, I think she had bipolar. I can't remember. She had something. Anyway, she didn't used to feed me. So before I learned my talent for shoplifting food, I used to eat leftovers. I used to go to like McDonald's, and if there were leftovers, I would eat them. It's really humiliating talking about. But it was a long time ago. I would go and eat these leftovers, and then one day, it was like a Tuesday, and it would have been around 4 p.m. because people at my school had finished school, and I hadn't gone in that day. This mum with her kids had left so much food on their tray, like a whole thing of chips, loads of chicken nuggets, so I just ate those leftovers. As I'm eating them, I can hear giggling behind me. And I turn around and it's a group of girls who were in my year, and one of them is filming me. Obviously, I was really embarrassed, really humiliated. I left really upset. I went to school 2 weeks later. This video had gone round the school. I don't know exactly how many people saw it, but when I came into school, people knew about it. I was called names, I was made fun of. This girl in my messages was one of the girls that sent the video around. She wasn't the only one, but she was one of them. She also, one time before this happened, so that's probably one of the worst things she did, because I fully dropped out of school after that. After that happened, I never went back to that school. I was 14, never went back to that school. And I'm not just blaming her. Like I said, my school life was failing anyway, and I would have ended up dropping out because I moved around so much in foster care, but it still really affected me on like a personal level. Another time, so I was in this group of friends, so this was before my mum had kicked me out. Our relationship wasn't great, but I was still living there. There was a group, let's say my group of friends, let's say there was 10 of us. Me and one of the girls really didn't get along. I couldn't stand. She looked like a fish. When I say a fish, I mean like actual fucking Nemo. Me and this girl didn't get along. We knew we didn't like each other, but it was like this unspoken thing. I was part of the friendship group, she was part of the friendship group, and so we didn't affect our other friends. We never spoke about our hatred towards each other. One time though, this girl who messaged me, I'm gonna call her Gina. That's not her name. Gina called me and was like, do you like fish face? That's obviously not her name either. She called me and was like, do you like fish face? I was like, well, I don't mind her, because honestly, I didn't even trust. I don't like bitching about other people because I just don't trust. Like, I don't know who's going to tell what who. Like, I learned at a young age not to trust anyone. So Gina was like, oh, do you like fish face? And I was like, well, I don't hate her. I just don't know her that well. And Gina was like, well, you shouldn't like her because she talks mad shit about you. Fish face talks so much shit about you. And I was like, saying what? And Gina told me a bunch of things that fish face had allegedly said about me. I'm this, I'm that, da 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 da. So I got on the defensive and I was like, what a bitch. And then my real feelings about fish face came out. Yeah, what Gina didn't tell me was fish face was actually on the line. You know when you can add someone into the call without the other person knowing? Like, this is BlackBerry days. This was not iPhone. Maybe it was even a Nokia, I don't know. Either way, fish face was on the phone listening. And I had no idea. I found out the next day where me and fish face nearly fully got into a fight. That was another time. We nearly got in another fight. I'll tell the story about the second fight we nearly got into. Fucking fish. She did other snaky things, like I suffered a miscarriage. I don't even want to go into it, but I suffered a miscarriage. She made a big point of spreading that around. And she tried to say I probably wasn't even pregnant in the first place. So Gina did a whole lot of shit and now wants to reach out to me as if she thought I'd forget. I don't care that all this stuff was 14 years ago. 14 years we haven't spoke. And it's not even that I've been sitting here holding a grudge, but you never forget the people who bullied you. You never forget the people who went out of their way to make your life harder. I honestly haven't thought about this girl in years. Like, obviously I didn't forget she existed, but she's just not someone I ever thought about until she sent me this message. The reason I don't accept it is because there's no apology. Like, I've never been a bully, but there have been times where if someone's been mean to me, I will be mean back, and sometimes I'm a lot worse. Like, if someone says something nasty to me, I want to say something nastier, and I'm trying to grow out of that. I really am. I want to be a better person. But if that person then reaches out and apologizes to me, I apologize back because I know I'm not perfect. Or if I've ever felt guilty, like there have been times where I might have been mean to someone and then I felt guilty, so then I've reached out and apologized. If Gina had sent me this message and attached to it was I've just realized there's a pig behind me. It's a Percy pig. If Gina had sent me that message and then added an apology to it, even just a little sentence like, sorry for things that I did in the past, sorry for the way our friendship ended up, sorry I was a big snake, I would have replied to that. I would have said, yeah, I'm doing good, how are you, what job do you have, da da da. We would have caught up. Because like I said, I acknowledge people can change. Like, at the end of the day, Gina was still a child. Like, I was a 14-year-old child, so was she. She was a child as well. And we've all done stupid things when we were kids. But as an adult, it's your responsibility to apologize for the things that you did as a kid that weren't nice. And there's no apology there. She's acting as if it didn't happen. And I know damn well she hasn't forgotten. I know she hasn't. And if she has, that makes her even worse of a person. I thought about blocking her because she follows me at the moment. So I know she's going to see this. And I thought about blocking her because honestly, I don't want her to message me in relation to this. I don't want to hear her denial. I don't want to hear her side of it. I don't want to hear it. Not because I'm so arrogant that I think, well, I'm 100% right. Because she'll have her version of the truth, which probably in her head paints her as a better person than how I'm painting her. But I know she wasn't that nice to me and I just don't want to hear it now. But at the same time, I want her to see this because I want you to know, Gina, I want you to know I haven't forgotten. And you don't get to just message me. I mean, that bit in the message where she was like, oh, I'm not looking for a follow back. Well, what are you looking for? I don't know why she messaged me like, what do you get out of it? I don't know. I just found it so fucking cheeky. Because there's more stuff she did that I just haven't mentioned on here because it would take too long. But yeah, weird message. Weird message. Yeah, that's my little story of my bully reaching out to me and not being able to have any contact with me. Like, she can keep messaging me, I will never respond. I might block her in a day or two. I actually really want her to see this. Just don't message me because I'll put your name out next time. I don't put people's names out because I just don't think it's a nice, classy thing to do. But message me again and I might.